My name is Bond.
James Bond.
Shaken, not stirred.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
I'm now aiming precisely at your groin.
That's not funny, 007.
For England, James? No.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Enter the BondVerse, where we're going through every movie in the James Bond franchise. I am Kyle. I am joined as always by my wonderful co-host Nathan.
Bond's the name's James.
That's right. That's correct.
It's true.
And
That's
this
the line,
week,
isn't it?
It's a very special time because this week we're finally getting good, Nathan, because it's Goldfinger.
We're getting to the good stuff, baby.
This is the good stuff, right? They've cracked it.
This is a lovely vintage. 64 was a good year for Bond. Absolutely. Good stuff. Goldfinger, we're both in agreement. Good film.
I think this is easily the best one we've done so far of the three.
Of the three, yeah, absolutely. We've got the theme that still holds up today. We've got the villain. We've got the plot. We actually know what's happening in this film. It's not just like a series of unfolding events. Yeah,
there's a clear plot. There's a villain who's like much more fleshed out than previous villains, I would say.
Yes, absolutely. He has like clear motive.
He has clear motives. We spend a lot of time with him, a lot more than we do with the previous Bond villains, where Dr. No...
He isn't working for special protection and extortion people.
Yes, there's no mention of Spectre in this movie.
Probably for the best.
Probably for the best, but also kind of weird considering how important they were to the previous two movies, but, you know, it's fine.
See, I feel like you can get around that, right? This is like your fresh start moment, so Dr. No vaguely works for some team that might as well just be him being the boss of them, and he just runs Spectre. And then from Russia with Love, you find out there's a boss, and Bond wins against, you know, number 3 and number 5, and, you know, he wins, he gets the girl, and that's all fine. And you could say, well, what are they going to do? Are they just going to go for revenge again? Or is this going to be actually not about Spectre? Because that would kind of make it about Spectre trying to get Bond. Or is it going to be about Bond doing his missions for the government?
See, yeah, I like that. I like that Spectre is just one of many threats that Bond takes down, you know?
Yes, absolutely. And this is just some jeweler, some gold person that...
Some rich asshole from Sweden.
That may or may not have Nazi gold. He's definitely interested in Nazi gold.
Oh yeah, Bond has the Nazi gold.
Oh yes, but Goldfinger's very interested in it. That's just his name. Alright, Goldfinger.
Yes, it's weird, because you hear Goldfinger, like, okay, that must be like a nickname, surely,
yeah,
right?
Like he's missing a pinky and he replaced it with a gold one or something.
Sure, yeah. But no, his name is just Goldfinger.
And his family must have loved it when he liked that colour.
Yeah, when he made gold his entire personality.
Yeah, Like, could you imagine if he actually just hated the colour gold and his name was just a reminder of horrors? He likes it so much he paints his victims in it.
He does. Well, yeah, we should get into it. This movie starts with an honest-to-God cold open.
Yes, it does. I mean, I think the last one opens with a cold open as well. It just doesn't have a very long, strict intro, you know? The last one started in the mansion with the fake masks.
That is related to the plot of the movie, though. This one has nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
I see. Right, okay, I know. I see what you mean.
This is just like an unrelated Bond mission to sort of get us in the Bond mood, you know?
Yep. And you know what? He's working it.
He's working it. He has a bird in his head, Nathan.
He's hiding his snorkel with a bird. Yeah, the bird's just dopping along. It's very smart, actually, because I actually think snorkels, a lot of people would probably notice it.
Mm-hmm.
People won't notice a very obviously fake bird, though, Kyle.
No, of course not, no. Well, we're starting to incorporate some of the more silly gadgets.
We've a zipline from Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Yeah, we do. We have secret doors that lead into secret facilities.
Yep.
Where you plant explosives.
Plastic explosives that look like toothpaste.
And then you take off your wetsuit, and what do you have underneath? You have a tuxedo. He was swimming underwater in that tuxedo.
Swimming underwater in that white tuxedo, and he's got that little red rose to puncture right through it.
Mm-hmm.
Just what a guy. Within minutes, he does all this. This is like a really quite cool open.
Yeah, it's just a cool action sequence to start the movie with. It's fine.
And there's characters that are like, don't go back to your hotel room, they'll be on to you, we have a plane that will get you into Miami in moments. He's like, that's fine, but I have some unfinished business.
His
And
business is a lady.
he has a room key for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
If this feels like this could have been a whole other movie, you know?
I think that's the idea. Yeah, this is Bond finishing up his previous adventure. You know.
Yeah. And it doesn't really end with him on top of a woman, though. Not really.
It doesn't. No.
No.
It's about to, but then things go wrong.
Things go wrong, which is why we need a whole film to justify it, to get him back to that woman point again.
Yes.
We have some good one-liners here, don't we?
Oh yeah. So yeah, he's smooching this lady, and then he sees in the reflection of her eye an attacker, that's some vision right there.
That is some good vision. How can she even be in a position to see that reflect? Like, for her to be able to have that light reflecting on her eye?
She's staring directly at the attacker, I guess. But
Yeah, but Bond is... That's fine. That's okay.
did Bond know that she was in on this, or did he just sacrifice her when he saw someone was attacking him?
He didn't trust her.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't trust her. Because, like, when she left, you know... Technically, it's his fault. Imagine if he just locked the room door when he came in.
I think the guy was already in the room. He was hiding behind
the cupboard.
the dresser.
The wardrobe. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So, yeah, turns her around and just lets her get beat over the head.
Yes. And he has a kerfuffle, which ends
They
with
have
this attacker in a bathtub.
Yeah, and he took off his gun because it scared the lady.
Yes.
And the assailant now has Bond's Walther, Kyle.
Oh no.
Bond can't move, he'll be shot. What does he do, Kyle?
He hucks an electric fan at him.
Into the bath.
Yes.
With a very violently sparking execution. Quite a good effect.
Yes, and Nathan, it's shocking. Positively shocking.
Positively shocking. Yeah, brilliant. Good one, Bond. Amazing.
Right into the intro. Here we go.
Right into it. Right into it. The horns, the great Shirley Bassey lyric.
Oh, it's a classic for sure.
This is one of the all-timers, and they nailed it in their third go.
Yeah. I think this is when they realised, like, oh, we have to do this for every movie now.
Yeah. This movie is 60 years old.
Yep.
To the year. This movie, I
yeah.
think, came out in September.
Hmm.
Yeah, so this is just crazy stuff.
It's the theme. I really like the visuals of this one too. It's just like all these ladies painted gold, just sort of sitting and sort of posing like statues.
Yeah, whereas unlike in Russia with Love, where they're doing the projecting onto the women that are dancing, it's a little bit distracting.
Yeah, this one's a bit more well put together.
Yes, absolutely. Gun Barrel was a little bit wonky though. We never mentioned that.
Yes, it is a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a weird someone forgot to turn off the effect edit or something.
Yeah, just when it gets to the bottom corner, it clips around a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I guess
positively
thinking,
shocking.
like, this is the 60s, so they did all that stuff practically, so...
Yeah, all this in camera. Great stuff.
Yeah.
They're just filming these painted gold women with the projecting onto them. And Shirley Bassey. We can't say enough good stuff about Shirley Bassey.
Oh, it's going to be stuck in my head for the next week.
She's still alive. And you know what? She becomes a franchise staple, Shirley Bassey does. So we're going to be talking about Shirley Bassey probably in and out through the rest of this show. Right up and through to the Daniel Craig era, which we'll talk about when we get there. The first of our Welsh singers, Kyle. Next visit we'll revisit Wales.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, amazing. So all I could say is just amazing. This, I think, might be one of the first Bond songs from a James Bond who wasn't Pierce Brosnan that I was familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Holds up. But
it's good, and it's a recurring motif through the movie as well, and it's great.
They get over they don't just use the Bond theme, the gun
they
barrel
finally
theme.
learned how to use the Bond theme. That's important to note.
Yeah, it is important to note. So throughout this movie, we just get orchestral motifs of the Goldfinger theme, which is just great. I think it's a lot less comical than the Bond theme.
It just has a lot of gravitas too. Whenever Goldfinger walks out into the scene, it's like blah blah blah. These brassy hits.
I think this is the motif that sort of sets the vibe for spy genre.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? It's a perfect evolution of the James Bond theme, but this has the certain orchestral arrangement that just gives suave spies, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This film was a great success financially and critically at the time.
Oh yeah.
And I think that sometimes they do succeed, but this is the Bond hype that they've been chasing ever since.
Yeah, this is the definitive Bond movie. Like, obviously we've got 2 movies before this, but this is where the franchise, like, actually, like, this is it. This is where we're going from now on.
Yeah, they've found what they want out of this.
Yeah.
And you know what? Good for them. They gave it,
yeah.
third time's a charm. It's not even like the first 2 were awful. It was just, you could see where they were fiddling with stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure we'll see some fiddling going forward again.
Oh, yeah.
But this is really a good bar set.
Well, yes. So after the intro, we cut to Miami, I believe.
Miami Beach.
Miami Beach.
That's our first frame. It's a little sort of flag being driven behind an airplane in the sky saying, "Welcome to Miami Beach."
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you can tell like they've got a full budget for this movie. There's all sorts of like sky shots and all this.
Oh, absolutely. Except when they're down at the pool place, that's all rear projected, I'm convinced.
Yeah.
It looks like all the close-ups of Felix and Bond are all just, they're not actually at a pool, because I bet the audio for that would have been horrific.
Well, yes, we have our second Felix Leiter. He looks significantly older than the last time we saw him.
This ain't no Jack Lord.
No.
No.
It's weird because, like, it may as well be a different character entirely.
Yeah, they're trying to, they couldn't get Sylvia Trench back, Kyle, so.
No, okay. Yeah, this Felix Leiter is more of like he seems more like a sort of older office type spy guy, as opposed to in Dr. No, where he was just a sort of American James Bond.
Yes, exactly. I think Jack Lord from Dr. No might have been my favourite Felix out of these 2. But listen, we're getting a million Felix Leiters, so don't get used to any of them. I think we might, apart from Jeffrey Wright, I think we might only have one other actor who becomes a returning Felix Leiter, but I can't quite remember that quite clearly, so we'll see.
Yeah, this is where we get some classic 60s sexism.
Classic 60s sexism. You know, yeah, you're right. Continue. Why don't you tell us about Dink?
Okay, yeah, well, Felix comes up and he's like, "Oh, you're hanging with the babes again, James Bond."
He's like, "Wow, Bond, how do you do it?"
Gee willikers. No, So yeah, he comes up and he says, "Oh, lady, introduce yourself to my friend Felix. Okay, say goodbye to Felix. Man talk," and then he slaps her on the ass.
Yeah, and hello, say hello, Dink. Hello, say goodbye, Dink. Why? Man talk. Yeah, really crazy stuff, right?
And then we never see her again.
Felix is a gentleman though, Kyle, because he knows to name drop her later in the movie, because he remembers who Bond introduces him to. He's an honest man, that Felix Leiter. I
do kind of like the portrayal of Felix's friendship with Bond in this movie, where it's like, oh yeah, Bond's up to his old shit again.
Yeah. He's like, oh, that guy. Oh, good for him. He's like, if M was less assertive.
Yes.
If M was more willing to go along with Bond's bullshit. But what are the chances that he would be at the same beach club as Goldfinger? Is that deliberate?
I don't think so, no. Or maybe Felix Leiter called him there, I think.
But yeah, possibly. I kind of missed some of this conversation. None of it really stuck with me, as much as I hate to admit it didn't.
This is just the start of this movie is a bit weird because Felix Leiter's explaining to, he's like, oh, that's Goldfinger over there. He's like a famous gold smuggler, basically.
Yeah, you're right.
And then Bond, of his own free will, just decides to fuck with them.
Yeah, he just says, oh, right, okay. For the 1960s, by the way, this is a very nice earpiece he's got.
I mean, it's very obvious.
Well, listen, very obvious, but you could be listening to the radio inside it. Who's to say it's being used to, like, funnel gin information back to you?
Sure, yeah.
Right? Like, that looks like an earpiece I would see people buy today. I know we all use wireless, but people use wired. You know?
I wouldn't go that far, but sure.
Oh, I totally could see people buy this today. It looks so clean and flush on that ear. Absolutely. I don't think it looks old at all. It's aged like fine wine.
I enjoy this, though, because it's a bit of, like, character building for Goldfinger, and he's this guy who, like, he just likes the feeling of winning, even if it's not sincere at all. He just always wants to win.
Yeah, he just wants the gratification of knowing that he beat someone. Doesn't matter how he got there. Which is just comes throughout the movie. You know, he likes to win. He hates losing.
Yeah. I just think he's a very good villain.
Yeah,
because he's an asshole.
Bond decides to go back into the hotel, and somehow knows what Goldfinger's suite is, and he sort of like tricks the maid by stealing her key, by sort of grabbing her
tricks a
towards...
strong word. He sort of manhandles her into just using the key.
Yeah, towards the door. She's quite good, though, that the staff are given like keys on zip lines, so that she can't drop the key.
She doesn't put up too much of a fight, but I guess he's a man twice her size. What's she gonna do, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So she's like, that's Mr. Goldfinger's room. And he's like, I know. Oh, look at me. Look what I'm doing. Like, he's quite goofy about it. So he goes in, and the maid's she just accepts it. She's like, oh, I guess that just happened. You know?
Yeah, and she doesn't run to security or anything. She's just like, well, above my pay grade.
Above my pay grade. Just Burkane entering, and this is where we meet Jill Masterson, who is spying on Goldfinger's card-playing opponent and reading back his cards to Goldfinger via his earpiece.
Yes, Nathan, it's just like the episode of Still Game.
It is just like the episode of Still Game. That's what I have in my notes.
Was that when they're all trying to beat Tam?
They're all trying to beat Tam because he took Joe's buggy. So they have a card game up in Jack Jarvis's living room, and they invite everyone round because Bobby the barman doesn't allow them to play cards in the pub anymore.
Yes, but then complication, the police show up because they think that he's been peeping on the woman in the floor below.
Yes, because she's just got out of a shower and she looks out of her window and she's all in a towel, and there's an old man with binoculars looking down at her.
Yeah.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Shug and two Polis. Yes. But even though he isn't able to help Joe get the winning hand against Tam and the Cairds, he wins anyway by sheer luck. Well, not by sheer luck, he knows the game. But it's good tension building. And he gets the buggy back off of Tam, rather.
I'll tell you what, though, Goldfinger does not have the same level of skill.
No, he does not. He isn't as good as Joe. He goes to water. He loses, and he's not a very happy man. He snaps his pencil. He's a big baby. And the guy he's playing against just can't believe it. He's won like $5,000 or something. He's won big. And you know what, though? Goldfinger, despite being ruthless, he isn't just like a bully killer. He doesn't like go, oh, fuck you, I'm not paying, and marching off and punching him. He just like pays and gets out of there. Yeah,
well, he's fabulously wealthy,
Yes, yes.
It's not so much about the money, it's just about having lost,
Yes, it's true. So Jill Masterson just falls for Bond's shit immediately and just
my god, yeah.
No agency as a woman at all.
I think this might be the record. It's either this or it might be Tatiana Romanova from the last movie.
I think Tatiana Romanova from the last movie because she just is like lying on the bed and they're just clearly about to get down to business right away.
I think that feels different to me because like that was the plan,
Yeah.
As opposed to this is just a random lady he ran into.
Okay, that's a fair point. That's a fair distinction. And yes, they keep looking through the bikes. But yeah, anyway, so what happens and they go back to Bond's suite, I believe. Goldfinger doesn't decide to come up and see what's going on, because Bond humiliates Goldfinger through the microphone. He knows he's being fucked with.
Yes.
And instead of going to investigate, Goldfinger just marches off. There's someone in your room with your secretary who you're presumably sleeping with. Is that not... You're not worried, Goldfinger?
Well, she does say that he only pays her to hang around with her, not for anything else. They do make that clear.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, still, his room.
Bond asks that question of quite a few women in this movie. It's just like a thing. It's like, he's not making you sleep with him, is he? Okay, good. So you're not tainted then.
No, he's not a sex freak unlike James Bond.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, exactly, right? So he goes to get some more champagne because it's bad to have champagne in water. Or above 38 degrees Fahrenheit or something.
Yes.
It would be like listening to the Beatles without earmuffs, Kyle.
This movie is, yes, he doesn't like the Beatles. This movie is very clear that Bond likes his liquor, okay? We hit this point many times.
He likes his liquor and he doesn't like the Beatles. Which, I see the kind of boomers that fucking go off their nut about James Bond. Like, but Bond should be this, Bond should be that. I bet they also love the Beatles and they just pretend that he never said this.
It's. I was thinking, because at this point, because we think of the Beatles as this classic rock band, the Beatles are still relatively new in the 60s.
The Beatles are like in One Direction mode back then.
Yeah. This was their boy band era.
Yeah, they're in the I want to hold your hand moment,
Yeah, they all have the bowl cuts.
Yeah, this is that era. So I don't really... So, yeah, he doesn't like those annoying little twerps, the Beatles, you know? The fact that Paul McCartney would go on to do a Bond song is...
That's true.
Yeah. It's just extra icing on the cake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not for Sean Connery, though.
No, that was a Roger Moore classic, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there. And then Bond gets beaten over the head, Kyle, and he wakes up.
He doesn't get beat. He gets judo chopped in the neck.
He does get judo chopped in the neck, I apologise. By some unknown assailant who we'll meet later. But that's it for Jill Masterson. She becomes one of the most iconic pieces of paintings in the James Bond franchise.
Yes, well, yes. It is a very classic, like, shot of the women painted gold, naked on the bed, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That they play that up again in the Daniel Craig movies, but we'll get there.
We'll get there in 6 months.
We'll get there next year.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to most things next year, but...
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so this kind of establishes a personal, like, vengeance thing for Bond, even though, like, he didn't really care about Jill Masterson. He knew her for, like, a day.
I mean, it's absolutely true. Yeah, he didn't have a clue who she was. He knew her less than a day. He knew her for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And
so I guess it's more of, like, a message from Goldfinger of, like, don't fuck with me.
It is, so I don't really know why the film decided to include these stakes that it's personal for Bond. But apparently it is. But she had died, Kyle, to... skin suffocation.
Mm-hmm.
I meant to Google this and I didn't, but apparently it's been known to happen with performers, Bond says in the movie, and usually they can get around it by having a bit of bare skin on the lower back near the spine to allow the skin to breathe. Mm-hmm. I don't have a clue if this is true.
I mean, I do know that, like, body paint can be dangerous for you, but I usually thought it was, like, a chemical problem, right? This is the story of, like, the Tin Man and Wizard of Oz.
They use, like, less be allergic or it's toxic or something, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about skin suffocation.
Well, I just googled it.
Also, like, that can't be the way she died, right? Did she just sit there and let them paint her for an hour?
Oh yeah, so, like, that she must have. Really?
I would have thought cause of death is like Oddjob strangled her to death and then painted her, you know? It seems like that would be the easier way to go about things.
So, what I'm finding here, Kyle, is that every search for this is related to Goldfinger, and it's bullshit.
Makes sense.
Yeah. There apparently you can't maybe certain paints will help struggles to regulate temperature and you can overheat.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, we didn't kill Bond. Why just kill her and not kill him? Who knows?
I mean, probably because killing Bond would be a much bigger issue, right? Because Bond is a spy. Yeah,
but who's going to go after Goldfinger? 008?
We do get some 008 mentions. Freaking, Sean Bean's 006, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
This is
the first... 008?
No, I think 009 gets a mention in the Daniel Craig era. Or it could have been 008, I can't remember. But 008 gets mentioned twice in this movie, right? And if that happened today, that's enough for a spin-off franchise.
What? It would just be like James Bond, but it's a different guy.
Yeah, it'd be Ernie something. We're in the government building, the MI5, MI6, I can't remember who it is Bond works for.
MI6, yeah.
MI6. And we're already in the meeting with M. And he's, like you're saying, the personal stakes were involved, which me and you don't really buy. But they give him some Nazi gold.
I don't believe that Bond has any true human emotions. So.
Yeah, you think he's just a sociopath?
Yeah.
So he's being told, here, take this Nazi gold, or we're going to dinner or something tonight, and you'll be given Nazi gold.
Yes, they go to like a dinner with like some sort of colonel in the British Army or something.
Yes, absolutely. Who has some intelligence.
It's like, there's something so British about this scene. And like what's the British government like? It's a bunch of dudes in tuxedos eating dinner and talking about destabilising countries, you know? Yeah,
and dinner jackets and cigars and the pipes and going, oh, you're a good old boy, you'll do this for us, won't you?
Yeah.
Here's some Nazi gold. But when he's in the office, he leaves and he's like, be back here for 7 o'clock, Bond, and we'll go for some dinner with the Colonel. And he's speaking to Moneypenny.
Yes.
And he's like, what do you know about gold, Moneypenny? And she's, the only thing I know about gold is the one that goes on like your third finger in your left hand or something.
Yeah.
So she's talking about wedding rings, because that's the only thing a woman is good for. But I thought this was sincere, but she's not. She's doing a bit, because then as Bond comes over to her and is like, oh, we'll need to get you one of them one day, or something like that, she takes his hat and she does the hat trick.
Yeah, they're doing classic Moneypenny Bond banter.
Yeah. They keep. I'm always really paranoid that they're going to paint Moneypenny as just like, oh, I'm just a woman. What do I know? Like Dink or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it, because Felix calls Bond, or Bond calls to be like, the girl's dead, and Felix is like, Dink? Like, yeah, you're Dink. No, not Dink. Anyway, sorry. What did you just mention? How much
like,
of a gentleman Felix was? Yeah. So.
No, I love the MI6. There's only like one scene per movie of like the MI6 office banter, but it's always great.
So it's always a little highlight moment. But he's going off to Q Branch. But before that, because she's very disappointed that she can't go out for dinner with him tonight because he's got dinner plans. And he goes, "Oh, who's the lucky girl?" And then M's on the mic because he can hear it and going, "He's coming for dinner with me, Moneypenny, and I don't want him to be late." So he goes,
Yeah,
"Oh, there's still hope for me."
I was like, skip the usual banter, would you?
Yes.
I want to hear this shit every time.
I love it. I really do like them. I like that M is part of it. I always thought like he would just never have much to play in it. But yeah, it's good fun. So
he knows what's going on in the other room, and he's like, "Oh my god, they're at it again. These two, they're like children."
Yeah. I have a meeting with double the weight in 2 minutes. Get Bond out of here. Yeah, we basically just cut to that dinner scene we're talking about, and this is where he gets handed the Nazi gold, and we talk about how Goldfinger has gold. He's a legitimate jeweler. He's not just a criminal. He's up to something, but he's doing it through his legitimate businesses. And he has gold in different places around the world because you can buy it in different countries and exchange it for different rates, and you can make money just by selling your gold in the exchange rate, right?
He is somehow smuggling gold between countries, but they don't know how.
Yes. So we're like, we need to get a meeting with him, something that'll interest him. Take this Nazi gold from a certain batch that mysteriously vanished in the 1940s, right?
Yeah, they mentioned they found it in a lake or something, I think.
Yeah. So Bond's ready to take it at dinner, and he's like, "You'll pick it up from Q Branch later on." So that takes us into our Q Branch section of the film, Kim.
And this is our first proper classic Q scene.
Yes. What do we have, Kel? We have smoke bomb parking meters. Bulletproof vests under trench coats.
Yep.
And then we hear the news that Bond isn't allowed to use his Bentley anymore. Apparently Bond's very fond of the Bentley.
Yeah. You know what? It's exactly like that scene with the Walter PPK, right? Where he's like, he has this other gun that he loves.
Beretta.
But he's about to get something that will become his iconic staple, you know?
Yes, We're seeing like the death of a previous, like the prototype Bond.
Yeah.
No more Berettas and Bentleys, Kyle. It's all about Walters and Martins. So
what a car, though.
What a car.
Oh my goodness.
The DB5. Great stuff. Rotating number plates, Kyle, for any country. Tracking devices.
I don't know how that works, because surely you can only rotate between like a minimum of maybe 4.
Yeah, on that it seems to imply that he's like 3 or 4, yeah. So maybe they're the only countries that matter, Kyle, right?
I suppose.
But we've got smoke screens, tracking devices, oil slicks, bulletproof shields, machine guns, and an iconic ejector seat.
And those little things that come out of the wheel.
Oh, yeah. To slash tires. Very ruthless device. I'm pretty sure I have them in Saints Row.
Yeah, probably.
I just drive around with them out all the time. Just flatten tires like a madman on the road.
Yeah, I was thinking, is this one of the coolest movie cars ever? I think it's in contention.
It's right up there with
Bond's
Mr.
DB5.
Incredible's car.
Mr. Incredible's car. Kit, obviously, from Knight Rider.
Yeah, Kit from Knight Rider, absolutely. It is really high up the list. The little 3-wheeled van from Only Fools and Horses.
Oh yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Mr. Bean's Mini.
You're naming all the classics. The Mystery Machine from the Scooby-Doo movie.
Yeah, absolutely, Kel. They're all warranted. They're up there for a reason, you know? And listen, Bond has a number of classic cars. Like, there's a full garages. There's full garages you can get of fancy Bond vehicles.
I don't think you get more iconic than the DB5, though.
No, this is story time, right? So ladies and gentlemen, over the weekend past there, I was in London with a friend, And we were there for a couple of things, but one of their main reasons for going was for a James Bond bar in the Burlington Arcade. I think it's in Piccadilly, in Mayfair. And it's all gold themed inside, and it has like gun barrels in the walls. I think it's the Dr. No one. I was looking to see how glitchy it was, and I was like, that's the Dr. No one. At either point, it was a Connery one, right? And it's all, gold mirrors and gold velvet ropes in the queue to get in. There's a big gold Aston Martin, Kyle.
Yeah, I have to point out, by the way, for all of this, you have to picture Nathan wearing a full suit.
Yes, I was wearing a full suit for it. I was done up to the nines. Friend of the show, Ryan, let me borrow his tie.
Mm-hmm.
That was very good. Because I didn't have any ties fitting the occasion, Kyle. So it was a great day, right? A really great day. Lots of Bond watches from there, because Bond always has a watch. We've not quite reached that point in the franchise where they've decided to focus on them. No. But lots of good Bond watches. But there was a gold Aston Martin DB5 in the window, and it looked really good. A bit gimmicky. Like if you saw one, like a full size one, you'd kind of go, "Oh no, why did you just make it grey?" But for the event, it was really suave. Because it's Christmas, by the way, when we're recording this, it's December. They had like Christmas wreaths in the glass windows and doors, and it was a Bond themed wreath, and it had like the DB5's number plate on it, and like a vodka martini. It was good fun. Like just all the little Bond knickknacks on the wreath, not just any typical Christmas wreath. And we had some vodka martinis, Kyle, mixed, not shaken.
Yeah. He says it. He says the correct thing in this movie.
He does. He does. They absolutely nailed it. So we had a couple of vodka martinis with a slice of lemon, Kyle. Very, very good and lovely chilled glasses. And quite like Bond would say, it's a sin to drink champagne above 35 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever the line was. We had some lovely bottles of Bollinger champagne, James Bond special, Kyle. Very expensive. And it was nice 007 champagne glasses, and it was all just freshly chilled and but they kept it behind the bar for us. A really suave event, Kyle. I could recommend it to people thoroughly when they listen to this. However, it shuts at the end of December, so you need to be quick.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm going to make it, I'm afraid.
Only because you're in Canada, not because you don't drink alcohol.
Yeah, well, yeah. Does he do a non-alcoholic vodka martini? Yeah.
They did. They had a list of non-alcoholic beverages, Kyle. You would have been welcome.
Right.
In the upstairs, they had a James Bond merch shop where it said for boutique secret agents only, and me and Stuart were the only people there in suits, so we were welcome up there with open arms. I got Kyle a little Spectre ring. It's got the little Spectre logo on it, but it's the Spectre logo from the Daniel Craig era, where it's like a flush ring with just like an engraving of the logo, as opposed to like the From Russia with Love one, where it's like almost like a jewel on the top of it with the squid, you know.
It's a little more subtle, is what you're saying.
This is a heck of a lot more subtle, but it's a gorgeous ring. Sorry, I just wanted to bring this up because we were talking about DB5. Of course,
it's pretty relevant.
Pretty relevant, exactly, Kyle. Thank you for justifying my meandering story time.
Yes, well, getting back to it, because now we get to talk about golf, Nathan.
Oh, golf. Can I tell you about time at a golf course this weekend? No.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes, Kyle, we're going... by the way, Q never jokes about his work.
Yes, love that. Great line. Great delivery. Line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's building what will become the Bond Q dynamic across all of these movies, which is Bond is joking around and Q's like, Bond, shut up and let me talk.
Yeah. Bond doesn't care for the strict briefing. He just wants to get out in the field. And Q's like, oh, you son of a bitch. Bring this back in One Piece 007.
If anyone hates Bond in MI6 the most, it's Q.
Oh yeah, Q despises Bond. Does he wreck anything in this film, or does he bring everything back in one piece?
No, he crashes that DB5 into a wall.
Oh, he does, doesn't he? Oh,
and he never gets that back.
Yeah. God, Q hates Bond so much.
Also, the tracking device, the little one that goes in the shoe that gets crushed in a car crusher.
Yep, you're right. You're right with Mr. Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely chat to Mr. Solo.
Yes.
But
Q is well warranted in knowing that Bond is going to wreck all his stuff.
Absolutely. Well, like you say, Kel, we're going to the golf course.
Mm-hmm. Is this the most intense golf game you've ever seen, Nathan?
Yes. I think that Goldfinger at any moment would just get Oddjob to immediately whack Bond there and then. They really treat him with like a jump scare attitude the second we see him, and he's just a caddy standing out there in the car park, and the camera's like, oh my god, ah!
He's a great henchman though. He's a very distinct looking dude. He's sort of short and very wide, you know. Yeah,
short, strong, and muscly.
And he's always got that hat.
He's always got the bowler hat, and he's got the tail jacket on with the trousers. Mm-hmm. He's got the waistcoat and the bow tie. Yeah, he cuts a very distinct figure.
Yeah, this is another part of establishing the clear Bond format. We have a henchman who is very much, this is a distinct henchman.
Yes, yeah. He's a driver, he's a caddy. Yeah, the only thing he isn't is like a waiter. I'm sure he would do it.
He has a metal-lined hat that he throws at people.
Yep, absolutely amazing. Good for cutting off the heads of statues and not cutting off the heads of human beings, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Well, maybe it's dependent on how strong he throws it, you know.
Kyle, I love Bond's caddy. He's just some guy who works at the golf course.
Just some guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's like
he's into this. He's like, there's some crazy stuff going on here, but I'm into it.
Yeah, he's into it, yeah, and he figures out that like Goldfinger can't find his ball because James Bond is standing on it. And he's like, good, look at you, sir. You're right. You're a real jokester. I love this. What you're doing to this bad man that I'm just assuming is bad. And
well, as we learn later, that's his boss because Goldfinger owns the club.
Yes, that's a good reveal. I never even thought of that. Goldfinger's just like Donald Trump if they'd done this movie today, right?
Oh my god, you're so right. Yes. Yeah. If they would be in a golf course in Scotland, just like Trump loves. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, all the gold everywhere. So we are. Oddjob, by the way, is just finding strange balls out of his pocket because he must have a hole in his trouser leg to get fake balls out when he can't find it.
He has these trousers custom tailored to help cheat at golf. Yeah.
Yes,
I love this too because Goldfinger is bad at golf. He only wins by cheating.
Yes,
it's pretty clearly established.
Yeah, he can't win on an even playing field, Kyle. He plays with a Slazenger 1, and Bond swaps out the ball for a Slazenger 7, and that means that it wasn't his ball, and that means he forfeits the game, Kyle. They have discussed the Nazi gold on the green, by the way, and Goldfinger's interested.
Bond just chucks it on the ground. Yeah.
He does just chuck it on the ground. Imagine that landed on someone's foot. But yeah, so the caddy loves all this, getting one over on his apparent boss, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, but Goldfinger's not an idiot, because he's like, this is the second time we've met Mr. Bond.
Oh yeah, Bond's a terrible spy.
Yeah, absolutely terrible.
Because that first scene where he's messing with him at the resort, he's like, my name's Bond.
Yeah.
Over the radio. You don't have to tell him your name, James.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Don't say anything. Say nothing. But as we're getting the check from Goldfinger and he's leaving his own golf course, Bond plants the tracker. Mm-hmm. And that leads him to Geneva.
Yes. Geneva, Switzerland. Lovely place.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous, Kyle. Lots of lady assassins in Geneva, apparently.
Apparently so, yes.
Yeah. Lady gunman. How progressive. Yeah. Very progressive movie, Kyle.
This is an interesting part of the movie. So we meet Tilly Somers or something like that. She introduces herself as Soames.
Tilly Soames. Yeah. But her gun case says TM, Kyle.
Yes. Well, we introduced this character who turns out is the sister of Jill Masterson, and she's out for revenge because Goldfinger killed her sister, right?
A couple days ago.
And you're like, okay, we've established the Bond girl for this movie. She's going to be the female lead of this movie. And then she just gets killed by Oddjob, and then she's gone from the rest of the movie.
Kyle, honestly, I saw that because in my notes here, I've got, Oddjob giving her the Oddjob special, right?
Yeah.
And fair enough, right? Like, that's her. I didn't know that she died there until, like, when? I'm trying to think in the movie when I realised she wasn't coming back. I think it was maybe sometime on the plane.
when we meet our actual female lead, yeah.
Yes, because during, like, the whole laser cutting bit, I'm like, oh, right, he's got to get out of here to go free.
To go rescue Tilly Masterson.
Yeah, Tilly Masterson, yeah. And then we're sitting on the plane and we've met this other woman. We will get to her later. And
oh yeah, don't want to reveal that too early.
Yeah. And I'm like, where the fuck's Tilly? Where's Masterson? Is she dead? Did that kill her?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently so. The Oddjob special, but it didn't decapitate her, you know? That'd been very violent for 1964.
It's just, it's a weird, like, sort of bait and switch.
Yes, it is.
Who the female lead is going to be.
Absolutely it is, yeah. I mean, think of how late Honey Rider got introduced in Doctor No.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so we are running away from all these Korean henchmen because
we're doing all of the. Are they? They're Chinese, right?
no, they're Korean because Oddjob's Korean.
But I thought Goldfinger was working for the Chinese government.
Is he? Maybe I missed that. I know that he says to Bond when they're playing golf, golf hasn't quite made it to Korea yet, in reference to Oddjob not really liking golf. It's maybe he is working for the Chinese, but he definitely says Oddjob's
Oddjob
Korean.
is Korean, but I think he's working for the Chinese.
Right, okay. In that case, Chinese.
He does have a bunch of goons. I don't know where they're from. We don't get into it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, China was the threat in Dr. No. Maybe just China was in the news a lot in the 60s.
Yeah. I guess it's a slightly safer bet to villainize than Russia. I don't know.
Russia, we're from Russia with love baddies, you know? We're switching them between. Next movie will be Russia again, right? Just keep a tracker of that, right? Russia, China, yeah. Russia, China.
Well, as long as it's communism, you know?
As long as it's those dirty reds, Kyle. So we have caught Bond. We've done the ejector seat. We've had this big car chase. Everything crashes and explodes. The henchmen let Bond drive his own car that leads to the car chase for some reason.
I mean, I guess they want to keep the car. It's a nice car.
Yeah, well, why don't one of they drive it? Maybe they can't drive a stick shift?
They don't know how to drive because it's on the wrong side, because it's a British car.
And they're in Switzerland? I suppose it's possible. But this is the iconic room, Kyle, with the laser cutter right here.
Oh, yeah. This is a Bond special.
This is a Bond special. This is
ultra classic. Why don't you just shoot Bond? Moment, you know?
yeah. And I understand a little bit of toying and torture, especially if you're going to be standing there watching it, trying to get him to sweat, you know? He's like, you expect me to talk, Goldfinger? He's like, no, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. Very good, right? Very good.
Goldfinger doesn't even watch it happen. He's just off to chat with like the techs in the lab.
Yeah, in the background as this all happens. Yeah. But yeah, this room, this laser cutter situation, this is spoofed in The Simpsons. This is everywhere, you know.
I mean, yeah. If we're talking, you keep mentioning Austin Powers. Obviously, a lot of this stuff ends up in Austin Powers.
Yes, I mean this is Goldmember, right?
Yeah, this is Goldmember. Oddjob is what they call random task.
Random task, yeah.
Yeah.
He throws a shoe. Yeah, you're right. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's tense, you know.
And this is where he convinces Goldfinger not to kill him because he says, you know, 008 will be on it if you kill me, and he knows about Operation Grand Slam as well.
Yes. And Bond is just bluffing. But
yeah, he's just talking shit. He just heard Operation Grand Slam somewhere and ran with it. But it's enough to keep him alive.
Can you afford to take that chance?
So we're going to get in a plane to Kentucky, but Goldfinger's going to fly out first.
Yeah.
And this is where we meet our Bond girl of the movie, who's not even a girl. This is a Bond woman.
This is a Bond woman for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We're both avoiding saying her name because her name is so fucking stupid.
Yeah. I'll say it, Kyle.
Uh-huh.
This woman's name is Pussy Galore. And she can deliver that with a straight face.
Yeah.
And Bond says, I thought I was dreaming.
Yeah.
Bond, I'm fucking having a nightmare watching you on this plane.
It's annoying too, because I think of like the female leads of these movies, she is the best so far.
She is the best, the most fleshed out, you could say.
Yeah.
The strongest.
But her
I think
name
she
is
has
Pussy Galore.
yeah, exactly, right? She has the most agency, but that's her name, right?
Yeah.
She can kick the shit out of Bond. She's a squadron commander for female plane pilots.
Yeah, she's a pilot.
She's a co-investor in Goldfinger's shtick.
Yeah, she has way more to do with the plot than any of the previous female leads.
Yeah, she is a pilot of her own stature. She's a strong, independent woman, right, for 1964.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
She's just such a stupid name.
Yeah. Is this the worst Bond name? It's up there for sure.
Yeah.
Octopussy's also pretty bad, but that's the name of the movie.
Yeah,
so.
We'll get to all that, right? I think this is such a stupid name. Yeah. I mean, listen, there's more later, you know? This is where we get into...
Oh yeah, like, it's a tradition, obviously, but yeah, it's annoying because it's otherwise a pretty good character.
Yeah, otherwise pretty good character, just the name lets it down. It's just so stupid. Like, by the way, fun fact about this actress, she went on to despise Sean Connery.
Oh dear.
So, she became quite involved in politics. She only died in 2020.
Okay.
she was offered a CBE, but she was a British Republican, Kyle.
Right.
And
Okay.
she didn't support the royal family. Her name's...
Yes, I guess we have to say Republican in Britain means a different thing than it does in America.
Yes, she believes in Britain becoming a republic.
Yes. As in down with the monarchy.
Down with the monarchy, right? And she was a Liberal Democrat, and she, when later in life, would say that she did not like Sean Connery because he accepted a knighthood from the state, and then would go on to live abroad as like a Brit in exile.
Yeah.
And wouldn't pay any taxes in the UK. Okay. So thought that Sean Connery was a big hypocrite and hated him. Which I just think is quite funny.
Well, yeah.
I just felt I needed to bring that up because I just thought it was funny. That's the beginning, middle, and end of that story.
That's fine. We love some background information.
Yeah, I mean, I got this distinctive impression that Pussy Galore hated Bond through most of this film.
Until she doesn't.
Until
her
she
maternal
doesn't.
instincts kick in.
She also didn't like Margaret Thatcher, so Pussy Galore is my favourite Bond character ever.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go, right?
But yeah, we get to Kentucky. There's a great line when they get here, and Goldfinger's welcome. Goldfinger has like a ranch in Kentucky.
Yeah, he does, near KFC.
Yeah, near KFC, because they're in Kentucky, yes.
Yeah, and there's a KFC in the film, which I thought just was
Yes.
amazingly sort of, not dating the movie, but it almost made the film feel more timeless.
Felix Leiter, he's a fan of KFC.
Yes, he is a fan of KFC. Yeah, he's just kicking about in Kentucky waiting for Bond to arrive. He doesn't know Bond's been kidnapped. He just thinks Bond's going there because he contacts M to be like, Bond's in Kentucky. And he's like, well, that's the first I've heard of it. Means he must be on the case now. Like, no one's concerned about Bond at all.
Yeah. Well, okay, I forgot on the plane also there's a scene where he gets changed in the bathroom and they have not one but two peepholes.
Yes, they have one peephole in the door, as you would expect. And then another one behind the mirror in the corner of the room, which surely wouldn't even show you very much. Peepholes don't have like that wide of an aperture.
Well, that's the backup peephole, you know,
Yeah,
in case the first one gets discovered, you know.
Yes, absolutely. And Bond puts his suit over one, puts his suitcase on another, and then puts shaving foam on it when he closes the suitcase. And
yeah,
you would think at that point, like, she's been asked to like watch him, she would like find an excuse to come into the room. But she doesn't. She goes, oh well, I guess I won't. Oh well.
I guess he's outsmarted me.
I guess he's outsmarted me, yeah. And this is, I think this no disrespect to this character, this actress, but this is meant to be like your Bond girl eye candy moment of the film, because like Pussy Galore is meant to be seen with some, apart from the fucking name, she's meant to be seen with some kind of respect. Like she's meant to be sort of better than Bond at this moment. In this poor waiter.
She is more. That's the other reason why she's better than previous, because she's more on an equal level with Bond than a lot of the previous female leads.
Yes, she can fight him, get one over on him.
She
Isn't
can
scared.
fight him. She's not scared. She's in a position. I like Pussy Galore. I just hear her name.
Yeah, it is. She's a female co-pilot as well in the cockpit of the plane, and that's when Bond's getting changed. And Bond's looking good in that suit. I just got to say it. See that grey suit? I think he looks fly. See that?
It's a good look.
The imagery of him when he's chasing Goldfinger around the Swiss Alps, and like they stopped to get strawberries from Swiss children or something.
Yeah.
And there's that iconic shot of him like leaning on the bonnet of his DB5. Fantastic. He just looks like $1 million.
Oh yeah.
It's great. Love it. Sorry, I just had to. I don't know much about fashion, but I know that looks great.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to get back to this ranch in Kentucky because when Bond arrives and Goldfinger's like, "What do you make of my ranch?" And it's on my horses, and Bond goes, "They're certainly better breed than their owner." It's like, damn, Bond, you fucking got him.
Yeah,
You're saying he's badly bred.
James Bond is really a big fan of eugenics. Yeah.
Well, he is a British gentleman in the 60s.
He is, absolutely. He had Operation Paperclip.
He doesn't like the Beatles, Nathan.
Some of the Q branch scientists are former Nazis. Yeah.
That's the real place they got that Nazi gold. They asked one of the guys in the Q branch.
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, I have some hidden in lake over here.
Yeah. I smuggled some out on the train. Oh, brilliant. But we've invited the mob to Goldfinger's establishment.
Yes, we've invited a bunch of different mobs.
A bunch of different
We've
mobs.
got-
He owns $1
We've
million
got the
bucks
guys from
and
Chicago,
billion.
we've got the guys from New York, we've got the guys from the East Coast, you know?
Yep, that is the East Coast, New York.
Sorry, we've got guys from the West Coast.
Yeah,
is
we've
what
got
I meant
the
to say.
ALA mob as well, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're all, and he's in debt to all of them. Goldfinger's in debt $1 million to a lot of them.
Yes. Specifically $1 million to all of them.
Yeah.
I guess they all did the same job.
Yeah, it was just to funnel in gold, I think, or men or resources or something. He assembles them all there, but doesn't tell each of them they're coming. And then flips his pool table over, and they're all so suspicious. They're all like, "Hey, what's that pool table doing? See?
Hey, what are you doing, hey?
Hey, what the hell, Goldfinger?" And he does big exposition to these people he's about to kill. He does a big business
Yes.
pitch to them instead of just going.
He likes to show off.
Instead of just going, "Just 1 second, my friends, I have to get something from the other room," and then gas them without context. He's like, "Let me explain to you everything that we are going to do, but you will get 10 million tomorrow when
And
the..."
let's be clear, this presentation must have cost him thousands at least.
Yeah.
He's got custom models made, he's got like these shutters that come down, he's got this custom flippable pool table with the controls on it.
One of these gangs, 1 million investment is just for the presentation that will kill them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So does that make Goldfinger like now like the kingpin of American mafia?
I don't know if that's how that works.
Like all the crime families now have to like kiss his ring because like he's now the Penguin, but it's not of Gotham; it's of the whole country.
I don't know why he kills all these people.
What would Oswald Cobblepot have done in this situation?
Oswald Cobblepot would have probably killed them all as well, but I don't know why in this movie Goldfinger kills all these people.
So he doesn't need to pay his debt.
I guess that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just getting out of his debt.
Yeah, he's just getting out of his debt. Like, what are the people beneath him in the food chain going to do if they died, you know? But Mr. Solo, one of them, decides he isn't for this plan. Okay, why don't you explain what Goldfinger's plan actually is?
Okay, sure.
This is
well,
the first
we kind
film.
of get Goldfinger's plan explained in 2 parts. This is the first part. He wants to break into Fort Knox, which is where the Americans keep all of their like gold that is the basis for the American economy, right?
Yep.
He wants to break in, and at least he says to these mobsters he wants to steal it, right?
Yes.
We should point out too, Bond is listening into this conversation because the bottom of the Fort Knox model is hollow for some reason.
Yeah.
And you can see through the windows.
Yep, even though I thought it was like part of a pool table hovering above the ground.
Yeah, well, the model comes up from underground.
Oh, I see.
The pool
Yeah,
table
that's
is just the controls for all of the
yeah.
the
You're right.
stuff.
You're right. I've misremembered. You're entirely correct.
Yeah. But also, I didn't want to find out Bond escapes from his cell by doing little bits with the guard. He does like the thing where he shrinks below the window. It's like, ooh, where did I go?
Yeah. Yeah. Guards aren't the brightest bunch.
Okay, yeah. So in the mob boss bit, we learn he explains that he's going to steal it, but then later on he's talking to Bond, and Bond is like, well, that doesn't make any sense because you couldn't possibly move all that gold in the time you would be allotted. Oh, also, they're going to gas the entire fort with neurotoxin.
Invisible, fast-acting neurotoxin.
Yes, that's what Pussy Galore and her flying squadron are for. They're going to gas the place
Champagne
from the sky.
squadron, Kyle.
Okay,
All
yes.
these blonde, blue-eyed women flying the champagne squadron of airplanes.
Yes, very specific job listing that went out for that one. You need
Yeah,
to be a
absolutely.
pilot. You need to be blonde, and it would be better if you were attractive as well. We'll say that. And
Yeah.
yes, I don't see why this matters for a flying circus because no one can see you up there. You know, you can just hire whoever you want. But
Goldfinger
whatever,
likes
right?
that golden hair.
Goldfinger is a weirdo. Yeah, it's fine.
He hired someone called Pussy Galore with a straight face.
What were her parents thinking? You know, honestly.
They're big fan of cats, Kyle. Big fan
Big
of
fan
cats.
of cats. Yeah, big fan of George of the Cats, the musical. What's the guy?
Not Alan Sugar. Oh,
It's not Alan Sugar.
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Andrew Lloyd Webber. That's
Andrew
it.
Lloyd Webber. Yeah. They're both TV British lords that do personality stuff.
I would love to see Lord Sugar's cats.
It'd be a lot more Cockney.
Yeah. So that's part of the plan. But the real plan isn't to steal the gold. It's to set off a nuclear bomb in Fort Knox, which will irradiate the gold supply of America and thus destabilize the entire economy.
Yes, absolutely. So he's not trying to steal the gold, he's just trying to increase the value of his own.
Increase the value of his own, and also as a side benefit, the Chinese government gets to destabilize the American economy.
Yes, absolutely. No Spectre included, which is just crazy, because this is exactly a Spectre job, you know?
Yes. But you know what, Nathan? This is good because it's a clear plan. I understand the stakes. I understand what he's trying to do and why, as opposed to Dr. No shooting spaceships with telepathic beams. I don't know why.
With radio waves that disrupt the engine.
With radio waves, yes.
That disrupt the engine
or
fuel.
Whatever was happening in Russia. Thought they were stealing a thing.
They were stealing
a decoder.
They were stealing a decryptor from the Russians because the British government wanted it, but Spectre would also be able to get it and kill James Bond.
Yeah.
This is the most clear sort of non-contrived shit. It's like they want to fuck with America's gold supply in Fort Knox so that he becomes like the gold broker of the world.
Yeah. He wants to be the gold kingpin, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? Very clear, easy to understand, relatable to the common man, gold, Fort Knox, like all this kind of thing, you know? Easy to follow. Your dad loves it.
Your dad does love it, and I love it too, Nathan.
Good, as you should.
This is another point, and I think you had this in your notes though, where it's like, why is Goldfinger still letting Bond live?
Yeah, at this point. Because Bond gets captured here, and he's like, or Pussy Galore catches him really underneath the model, and then decides, I'm going to escort you, and we'll go see Goldfinger right now, and we'll take him outside, out to the horse yard. And this is where we run to Mr. Solo, the mobster getting taken away, and he goes, this is another one of my guests, James Bond. And James Bond and Mr. Solo have this little, hello, yes, hello, very nice, mate.
Yeah.
And he sneaks the little handwritten note Bond's written into Mr. Solo's pocket.
Yes.
With the tracker.
It says, love from 007 to the CIA, yeah.
Which is just wonderfully British. And he gives it and puts it in Mr. Solo's pocket, and then we do this weird goose chase where we're following...
Oh, we have a little side quest here with Oddjob following Mr. Solo.
Yeah, right, it's no, Oddjob is driving Mr. Solo to the airport.
Right, yes.
And Felix is following him out of KFC.
He's like,
because it's the tracker.
I wonder where Bond's going now. He's probably after some dames or some booze.
Yeah, right. So then they lose them before we get to the car compactor place, and we're still en route to there. And this is where, and then obviously we drive past the airport, right? Big shock reveal that Mr. Solo's getting shot by Oddjob, and as he shoots him, the horns and the motif of Goldfinger just come to high gear, right? Wonderful
it's all
stuff.
just so classy. It gives Oddjob just this air of like, this is a professional. He knows what he's doing.
Yes,
you know? He's done this a million times.
Absolutely, yeah. This is just another day at the office for him, right? And he's always threatening. So we get taken back to the Kentucky horse ranch because Felix can't find the tracker anymore. It's gone offline because it's been crushed in a car compactor.
Yes.
And Oddjob is also driving back to the horse ranch because he's got the cube of the car that's also mixed in with Mr. Solo's $1 million in gold bullion.
Yeah.
So Goldfinger's going to try and get that back out of there. Like, what's the point? Just take him around the corner and just shoot him. Then take the gold out. And then, why crush the gold?
I mean, yeah, it does kind of imply that they knew about the tracking device, but I don't see how they could.
Yeah, they did.
That was just a coincidental benefit. Yeah, just like run out of the door and leave him in there to get gas with everyone else.
Exactly. Be like, hold on, gentlemen, I need to get something from the fridge. Oh, that's the oven, that's the kettle popping, and then
just
close the door.
You wait here, Mr. Soho. I'm going to go get your gold from the back room.
Yes, no, just, we're going to do it. This is the one part of the movie that I kind of would have been fine if they cut, just because it's just circular. But fine, whatever. So they see Felix Leiter and his friend sort of watching over the fence with binoculars very clearly at Goldfinger. And they're like, they're probably just some horse
Felix Leiter's not a very subtle spy. Yeah.
No, but they think that they're looking for like horse racing tips to see like what horses are the best on the training ground. Because he's racing all these. I mean, fair enough, right? But this is the one part where I'm like, if I was Goldfinger, I'd probably be sending Oddjob down to intimidate these guys.
Well, he does it better though, because he tricks them into thinking that they have nothing to worry about, because they're like, okay, let's just get Bond out here and make it look like he's
fine.
He's infiltrated us.
And we'll get Pussy Galore to wear something a little bit more revealing to sort of.
And to his credit, it works perfectly because Felix is like, "Oh, there's Bond. He has the situation well under control."
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then not long after that, it's mission time, isn't it?
Yes. Which again, for some reason, Goldfinger is bringing Bond along on this mission.
Oh, we forgot to say.
reason-
Sorry. Just before we go too far past it, Goldfinger says to Bond as Mr. Solo gets driven away that he has a pressing engagement. And if you've never
Yes.
seen this film before, right, that's just sounding like it's an excuse to get him out of here.
Yeah.
But when he comes back, when he sees the car crushed, Bond says, as you said, he had a pressing engagement. Goldfinger actually is like an anti-Bond in that he also can do the quips.
Yeah.
He would
you just
go.
don't know it yet. Yeah.
He would go far in the MI6 building.
Oh yeah.
Like he could really.
That's
fit in.
the primary tool you need is terrible quips.
Yeah, right. But he's good. He's the pressing. And if you don't know he's going for a car compressor, it means nothing. But when you know, you know. Brilliant stuff. Sorry. Anyway, we should mention before
also
the mission starts. Yeah, this is where Bond and Pussy start fighting in the barn.
yes, it's very weird.
It's awkwardly sped up in post.
It's just a very slapstick scene. Yeah.
Yeah, flipping each other over in the hay, rolling in the hay, as they would say in Young Frankenstein.
Also, like, Bond very much forces himself on her, this lady, but I guess she's into it, so it's fine. Don't worry about it.
This is the part where she cracks and she's going to rat out Goldfinger's plot to the CIA and tell them everything, and they're going to swap out the neurotoxin canisters, and it's a big bait.
Because Bond is just that good of a shag, I guess.
He's just that good, yeah. That's Sean Connery.
No, I said it already, but I hate his line. He's like, "Oh, I think I appealed to her maternal instincts."
Oh.
What do you mean by that,
Yeah,
Bond? Did
yes.
you get her pregnant?
Oh, yeah, shut up, Bond. Worst line in the film.
It's bad,
This
yeah.
is really bad. But, so yeah, Champagne Squadron are flying over Fort Knox and knocking everyone out, right? Or so we think.
Mhm.
Like
Yes.
you say in your notes, Kyle, that you think that'd have been a fun day shooting, just because they've got to practice all just falling in the ground like dominoes.
Yeah, I can just picture the director goes, "And go," and then everyone just has to, like,
Yeah.
go limp and fall over.
Yeah. And it was quite good with the planes, like, because obviously they're up in the sky, so they're probably a different plate over. They're filming them separately and putting them together in post. It's a really clean plate. It doesn't look obviously like they're not there.
Yeah, no, it's good, yeah.
Yeah. Very good. So during all of this, Bond's just kind of been brought along on this heist.
Yeah, I think at this point, like, Goldfinger's just kind of, like, showing off to Bond. It's like, "Oh, I beat you," you know? So
Yeah.
now you're here to witness my victory.
Yeah, so it gives off big Indiana Jones at the start of the Crystal Skull vibes.
Uh-huh.
You know, where like Indy's just kind of been captured and he's kind of just... I think they're using him to try and, access whatever it is they're looking for. But at first he's just kind of walking around with them all, waiting to see what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Bond's doing here. Like, just completely useless, because this goes on for a while.
Yeah.
And then when they're in the vault and they're setting the bomb, that's when Felix decides to do the twist that it's all a scam.
Yeah, it seems like he could have done that before they get into the vault, but,
Yep, but no, they're in, and we're going in. And apparently Goldfinger, underneath his big jacket and shirt, he has a US Colonel's outfit, just waiting to go. He just rips off
Yes.
his evil outfit.
That's true, yeah, he has it underneath, yeah.
He takes everything off, and he's this wonder. It's a bit like Bond with his wetsuit tuxedo at the start of the film.
It is, yeah. And you mentioned this in your notes, none of these US military folks notice that this is obviously gold. He even has like a solid plated gold magnum in his hand,
Yep.
you know?
And
Like he's not doing that good a job of disguising himself.
He shoots his own Chinese henchman guy, but like the one in the glasses, like the one that would traditionally be his chief henchman if Oddjob wasn't around.
I think that's just like a sort of accomplice with the Chinese government.
Oh right,
I think
yeah.
he's that guy, yeah.
Yeah, so he shoots him to be like, look, I'm on the side of the government, shoot those people, and he sort of awkwardly runs away.
Mhm.
And then there becomes a standoff between the Chinese henchmen, the Chinese army, one could say,
Yeah.
and the US, and then they like he changes the combination on the vault door and closes it, and he locks inside some chief army henchman that he has, and Oddjob.
Yeah, he has like a sort of minor henchman who shows up a few times in Oddjob.
Yeah.
And minor army henchman's like, I don't get paid enough for this shit, I'm getting out of here. And Oddjob is loyal as hell.
Oddjob's like, I will die in here with Bond. And
What did Goldfinger do to secure this level of loyalty from Oddjob? Is he like providing for his family back in Korea or something?
He must be. Absolutely. He's on the side of North Korea.
Yeah, but yeah, Oddjob is just fully prepared to die in this bunker.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So they have their big tussle and fight, and the minor henchman falls to his death right down to the centre of Fort Knox, where Bond is handcuffed to the bomb.
Yes.
And when he sees that Bond is making his way to the dead minor henchman's waist with the keys, Oddjob's got to awkwardly run down all those steps.
Yes. Throw your hat, Oddjob, that's what you do.
Yeah, eventually he does throw it and he whiffs it.
Yeah.
But then Bond's able to unchain himself, and then we have this big fight, don't we, between
It's a
Oddjob.
classic henchman fight where Bond hugs a bar of gold at him and Oddjob just shrugs and laughs.
Yeah, Oddjob's fine with gold bullion being thrown at him, doesn't hurt him at all.
Oddjob has a massive smile on his face for this entire fight, and I love it.
He's
because
loving it.
Bond keeps trying to do stuff to him, and it's just not working.
Yeah, nothing's working against Oddjob apart from the sheer power of electricity, Kyle.
Yeah, there's a point where he pins him up against the wall, and he's trying to like push his arm back to break his arm, and it's just not budging.
Not working. So Oddjob then goes to throw his hat again at Bond, and it gets wedged in these prison bars that are sort of securing the gold.
Yes, well, I think Bond is the one who throws it that time, right? Because Bond picks up his hat and tries to throw it at him.
You're right. So they kind of switch places, and at this point, it cut like a electric cable.
Yeah, when Oddjob initially threw it, it cut like an electric wire, and it's sparking on the ground.
Yeah, so Oddjob decides to go retrieve his hat from the metal barring, and this is where Bond decides to spark it against the metal barring, the electric wiring. And the only way he could beat Oddjob was with sheer overwhelming electricity voltage.
Again, this is Bond is fueled almost entirely by pure luck in a lot of his circumstances.
Yeah.
The only reason he's arrived at is because he got lucky.
Yeah, just because he got lucky. And later on in the movie, Felix refers to him as his butler friend, and Bond says he blew a fuse. Good one, Bond.
Well, I love this too, because he gets the key, he manages to open the bomb, and he's looking at it like, I don't know how to stop the bomb.
He's like, in the
do I pull these wires?
Yeah. He does start pulling wires, but then the US Army finally get one out over the because they have to open the cell, and the Chinese sort of retreat into the vault.
Yes,
to, like,
one
keep
of
the
them
fight.
gets caught behind the door.
Yes,
Funny
very,
visual.
very, very brutal. I bet that door's not small either. Not like that killed him. He just the vault or Bond the bomb expert comes down in his glasses and his suit, and he just flips a switch that's very clearly must have been there off frame, and Bond's like, "Oh, I never saw that." And it stopped.
Yeah, I love that.
What does the bomb stop on?
007.
007.
Obviously.
Brilliant stuff, Kyle.
It's a little Easter egg for the fans, Nathan.
Just for us, yeah.
It's for us.
It's for us.
Yeah, no, I just find that so funny that Bond is like, okay, I gotta open this bomb and stop it, and then when he tries, it's like, oh, I don't know how to stop a bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He's like, what the hell am I going to do?
He's like, do I stop these thingies from spinning? Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, like if you tried shooting it, maybe? Shoot it just along the line of the wiring and not the actual gas container.
And it's like, no, there's an off switch, Bond. It's fine. Yeah, good stuff.
But
Bond
saves the
not quite
day.
over yet.
But Goldfinger got away.
Yeah, Goldfinger got away with Pussy Galore because she was flying a helicopter.
Yes, she was. But the president wants to meet Bond. Lyndon B. Johnson, Kel, wants to meet Bond.
Yep.
I've got a feeling when they filmed this, it was probably Kennedy.
I don't know when. I thought Kennedy was 1965 that happened.
No, Kennedy died in
Did I imagine
63.
that? Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Kennedy died in 63, and this was 64, but imagine you filmed the year before. They wanted it to be Kennedy, because he's the Catholic president that's young and suave, and Lyndon B. Johnson's just some old man.
Yes.
But when this film came out is when we're going to say this film is dated, and Lyndon B. Johnson wants to meet Bond for saving Fort Knox.
Yes. Felix Leiter has packed liquor for 3 in the plane for him.
Yeah, even though it's only him on the plane. But he needs all the extras that he can get. He's going to show up.
Felix Leiter really has such a low impression of Bond, doesn't he? He's just this drunk womanizer.
Yeah, but listen,
in Felix Leiter's eyes.
Yeah, but Bond is very happy for that. Like, it probably is true.
Yeah, like he's not incorrect.
Yeah, he's not incorrect. And we're getting on the plane, and we don't notice that apparently all the people of the plane have been knocked unconscious and they're tied up.
Yeah, they're all tied up in the warehouse. Yeah.
And Pussy Galore is somehow flying the plane. I think this end bit is just nonsense, frankly. Pussy Galore is somehow flying the plane. Goldfinger comes out in his US Army uniform, and earlier on in the movie, he tells Pussy Galore not to shoot a gun on the plane because it'll go right through Bond and depressurize the cabin.
Yeah.
Goldfinger takes that same advice but doesn't listen to it, or hears the same advice. And I just don't know how on earth they were able to sneak aboard this plane, or indeed how Goldfinger isn't trying to kill Pussy Galore for betraying him, because apparently he knows that, because he says he'll deal with Pussy Galore later on, Kyle.
Well, I guess, like, Pussy Galore doesn't know that Goldfinger knows that she's a traitor. I don't know.
But why is Goldfinger doing any of this, at this point?
Well, he needs a pilot, he needs a way to escape somehow. Yeah. I imagine that Pussy Galore helped tie up all those guards because she is, like, a competent fighter.
Yes, I can imagine that as well. I just find it crazy that, because, like, he says he's going to go along with it, just leave that helicopter Pussy Galore had for you, take that, and leave. What are you doing coming back and getting on a plane? Oh.
Yeah, I guess it's personally, he wants to kill Bond now.
Yeah,
because
it must be. So
he triggered Pussy Galore's maternal instincts. Really, Pussy Galore's the one who screwed him over way more than Bond.
Exactly, right? Bond was never under any, false pretenses here, right?
Bond didn't even stop the bomb. The bomb would have been stopped without Bond being there.
Yes, absolutely. But like, Bond could just have died down in that vault and everything would have unravelled anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe he's the one person that could have stopped Oddjob, Oddjob would have fought the entire US Army.
So, yeah. He would have nobly taken down 16 guys with machine guns.
Yes,
yeah.
With his hat, he would have disarmed all of them.
He would have ping-ponged it like Captain America's shield.
Yeah, exactly. But Goldfinger doesn't take Bond's advice, shoots aboard the plane, Kyle, and depressurizes this jet.
Yeah, there's a very janky effect of, I think it's rotoscoped of Goldfinger flying through the plane.
Yeah.
It's a little quick shot, but it looks very funny.
Yes, and he gets caught in the plane window, half sucked out, and then fully sucked out.
Yes.
Which is almost stop motion, like.
Yes, it is.
But it's fine. It's whatever. F in the chat, Goldfinger.
F in the chat. Whatever he won. Yeah.
He's playing his golden harp, according to Bond.
Not his best, quite.
Not his best. Not as bad as.
What he got with he wanted some air, something like that.
Yeah. I hate recycled air. Something like that. But it has.
He stepped outside for a moment.
He just stepped outside for. He'll be back in a moment. Yeah. But the plane touches the ocean and just explodes.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's like it hit the ground. It's very dramatic. But
I mean, this is classic movie stuff. Things always explode when they crash,
yes. But
it wouldn't just keep going into the water,
No, or it wouldn't smash. It wouldn't even just break apart. No, it just had to explode. Yeah. But we've got out on our parachutes. We've landed somewhere in the nearby
in the forest of
island.
Kentucky. Yeah.
But apparently
they're inland right now, so I think the plane just crashed into a lake.
It looked like the middle of nowhere. The way it's shot.
Well, they were flying from one part of America to another part of America, right?
Yeah, well,
so it must have been overland.
Yeah, that would make sense. It's just the way it's shot. It doesn't look, that water looks like it's the middle of nowhere. But listen, who knows? It was the 60s. You're right though, Kyle. It would be they're not even going coast to coast. They're just going within the American interior.
Yeah, they're going from Kentucky to Washington DC, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe it was the Mississippi.
Yeah.
So they see a helicopter and it's time to be rescued, Kyle, so you would think.
Uh-huh.
Bond has other ideas though. He's like, "Oh no, you don't, Pussy Galore. This is no time to be rescued." And we whips the parachute over them as a hiding.
It's a blanket.
It's a blanket, yeah. And we cut up to the sky with the helicopter flying away. Yeah. What are you talking about, Bond? This is a perfect time to be rescued.
Yeah, it's madness. You can have sex anytime you want, Bond. Maybe now's the time not to starve in the woods.
Yeah, exactly right. It'll be dark soon.
But Nathan, it's a grand tradition. Bond has to end the movie on top of a woman. So there we go. Third time in a row.
Yeah, this is the third one going. Yeah.
Third time, no, second time while refusing to be rescued because in Doctor No he lets the line slip so that the boat drifts away.
Yes, and from Russia with Love he just dumps the film into the water and waves it away like a fishtail.
Yes.
We get James Bond will return, Kyle.
James Bond will be back in Thunderball.
I love Thunderball.
Okay.
Thunderball's great. I
have seen it before, but it's been a long time. Just like I have seen this one before, but when I was 12, I think.
Yeah, there we go. So that was it. Good.
That was Goldfinger.
Good thoughts on this film?
That was a good movie. I think it holds up.
I think you could release this today. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, apart from a character being named Pussy Galore.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Apart from that, yeah, you absolutely could release this film again, I think. Very happy, Kyle. So, why don't you sing us out, wrap us up? Where can we find you online?
Well, Nathan, you always steal my job. Where can people find you online, Nathan? Because I'm the host, goddammit.
Well, Kyle, the people can find me online, as always, at Nathan Tinney on all social media hosting services. I also run our Twitter account, Name Not Included, at Name Not Included. And it's fully up for our Enter the BondVerse run at the moment. We have everything there that you could possibly want to keep up to date with the show. You'll also find me at Nathan Tinney, as mentioned, on those same web hosting services.
And you can, of course, find me at Kyle the Scot on YouTube, where I do video essays and game critiques. I'm also on Blue Sky now. I have been using it very occasionally, so there you go.
Yes.
I will say it's basically Twitter. I don't know. People are saying it's better. I think it's just Twitter again.
You're not seeing less toxicity, no ads? There's no ads.
I mean, there's less ads for sure. And I mean, I wouldn't say I've seen particularly less toxicity. It's less, like, openly evil, which is what Twitter is now. But, you know, it's still, like, a lot of people complaining, but you know what? It's fine. It's whatever. You know, it's social media. And yes, you can, of course, check out our entire backlog of Enter the Snyderverse, where we went through all of the DCEU movies, or Enter the X-Verse, where we went through all of the Fox X-Men movies, and cool stuff. We will see you next time for Thunderball.